Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So today, as I'm in my quarantine, I'm going to do an oil change. So I'm actually going to use this Motul 4T 20W-50, which does meet Harley-Davidson specs. Never used it before, so I figured I'd give it a shot. So not sponsored by Motul, but I do know that Watch JR Go is. So hey, if you guys are watching, I would love a sponsorship. But yeah, this is non-sponsored, but I'm gonna try this stuff and see how it goes. Before I do that, I'm gonna hop on the bike and go for a little cruise. I'll tell you why now. So the idea here is that we want to really stir up the oil and get it up to temperature. This is not necessarily just to make the oil flow easier, which it does allow it to do that, but this is also more importantly to get anything that might have settled in the bottom of the oil pan, get it up into suspension, up into the oil, so that when you drain it, everything flows out nice and clean, and you're not being left with any contaminants potentially at the bottom of the oil pan. I'm also using this as an opportunity to try and figure out how to sync up audio to the Hero Max that is on top of my helmet for a 360 video. So this little ride, as ridiculous as I look right now with a GoPro pointing at me, a GoPro normally, this is my normal setup actually, the GoPro at me and then one pointing forward on my helmet. And now I have the Max on my head, which you know, makes me go to the next level of douchebag. It's all kind of part of it, but the price you pay to make YouTube content. For now though, this ride, again, this is just meant to get the oil up to temperature and stir it up a little bit. Now as I come back, I'll show you guys, the bike actually sat here for a little bit. Obviously I filmed that a minute ago, but I'll show you that the oil temperature here is right at 190 degrees. So now I did buy this Harbor Freight jack. It's really come in handy. It's not the best, but it's worth exactly what they charge for it, in my opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and catch some of this for an oil test. I've never done one before, but we'll do it for the first time for the Harley. Why not? You know, it actually looks pretty good. It's not too roasted. The last oil change I actually did it like 10,000 miles right on the nose. 14,000, so I have 4,103 miles on this oil. Now you always check for any debris on the plug here. You know, any metal shavings or anything will stick to the magnet. This isn't too bad. There's a little bit there that all in, it's not, I guess, so bad, but I will definitely look at the filter. Now this is also going to be a review of the UltraCool Oil Cooler, which I've had on my bike now for 9 months is when I posted that video. So this probably has about 6,000 miles on it. It was on the bike the whole way to the Bring It Home ride, the Adam Sandoval event for the world record breaking Harley-Davidson ride, which also, if you haven't seen, I switched my plate on the back of the bike to 3497, which is the Harley-Davidson world record for most amount of Harleys in a single parade, which is pretty cool. So I threw that 3497 on the bike. There's a little bit of a nod to everybody who was out there. Being a part of that was really awesome. So, you know, I put a bunch of content out. You can watch that up here. It was really cool to be a part of that. So this UltraCool Oil Cooler was, yeah, it's been on the bike ever since. No oil leaks, no anything. And it's run really, really, really well. It kicks on exactly when you think it should. It's thermostatically controlled and kicks on and off. It works incredibly well. It's done a good job of keeping this 2018 Heritage cooler than what it certainly did, what it rode from the factory. So let's replace the little rubber O-ring on the plug here. So next we need to do the oil filter, and that's something I really wanted to do for this video. So this is just to get the pan underneath the bike here to catch the oil as it drains. And here is the Flow oil filter tucked back in here, which is nice because it actually has a little nut on there to remove it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now this is one of my favorite tricks that I learned off somebody on YouTube or a blog, I don't remember where, but using tin foil to channel the oil into your oil pan works out really well. If you're too cheap and don't want to buy the little plastic Harley-Davidson tool, which has pretty bad reviews anyways, so that works pretty well. All in, that's not too bad. So just a little bit of drip on the frame, not too terrible, a little down here, but it's a pretty good way, easy way to keep from creating a huge mess. And then this is the reusable Flow filter. Take the little filter out. There's a little spring in there. So taking a close look at this, it's really hard to capture on camera, but I do see some stuff in there. I'm definitely going to send the oil out for some testing. We're going to go clean this out in a container and see what we get out of here. And the nice thing is, you just pop this filter back in, and there it is. Pretty easy, easy setup. These Motul pour cans are really nice. Can I actually? So putting red motor oil in a vehicle is new to me, to the point where I had to look at this and make sure that it was still motor oil, not transmission fluid. That's interesting. So then naturally you look around just to see if anything's leaking. I do see a couple of little drips of the old oil, which is common. So that's my oil change for now. I'll come back after the bike's up to temperature. All right guys, so I went for a ride earlier with the Motul. This is the 4T 7100 20W-50 that I put in the bike yesterday. And I actually tried to record it, and I was doing a 360 video. It turned out terrible. The audio was horrible. So I just wanted to jump out real quick into the garage here and share with you guys that the Motul actually did run really smooth. I did try to, again, get a little bit of audio, and it's oil, so it only does, I mean, there's only so much you're gonna be able to really share with anybody, but one of the really weird things is it's red, and pouring that into the bike felt very weird. But I did notice that the bike did seem to idle just a little bit smoother. It's fresh oil, so I'm gonna come back and do a follow-up on this Motul 7100 20W-50 oil after I get, you know, probably the whole oil change, 5,000 miles on it, and really see how this stuff looks. I'm also going to do a comparison. I'm sending out the Mobil 1 20W-50 that I had in the bike previously out for an oil test through, is it Blackstone Labs? So I'm going to do a video on the oil quality of the Mobil 1 20W-50 compared to the Motul 20W-50, and I'm going to compare those test results. So that's going to take another 5,000 miles before I can pull this oil out and run that test. But all in, I'm really happy with it, and I did want to share with you guys this UltraCool Oil Cooler. It's really holding up incredibly well. Not that I didn't expect it to. I mean, it's a quality piece, so I'm real happy with that. I don't do a lot of this handheld camera stuff, so I really have no clue how this is going to turn out. So we'll see when I throw this into Final Cut Pro in about 3 seconds what this looks like. But I just jumped out in the garage real quick to film a little outro for this video, so I will see you guys next time.